All right, removing bear paws. If that is an intriguing topic to you, you saw that and you're like, what is this guy talking about? Yes, it's a thing, and I'm glad to have you. I'm going to introduce you to something new. You'll probably find it pretty darn interesting, and there is a practical reason for doing this. Of course, you hunters that tuned in know what it is. In order to send a hide into a ruggery, into a tannery, if you want to store it indefinitely, you've got to salt that bear hide. In order to do that, you got to remove the skull. I'll put a video up right here that goes over a few tips on that. You've got to be able to remove the paws, and you've got to be able to flesh the hide. I cover all this stuff on my YouTube channel, but the paw one is what catches everybody off guard and where they mess it up. So that's what this video is all about. I go over it in detail. While I was up in Alaska with some clients doing some bear hunts, we got into the shop, we went through the nitty gritty. You guys should enjoy this one, and it's something that's very hard to figure out unless you've seen it in detail. So pay attention and let's dive right into it. All right, guys, so I wanted to mention that I'm having these custom skinning knives made. These are called Cliff Skinner. I've got a whole bunch of reasons why I've had this knife made the way that it's made. I've got a short video on the website. The details are there. pursuitwithcliff.com. Click in the corner up by shop. You'll see Cliff Skinner. Click that puppy. You'll get all the details. So the two tools that I use, guys, is I use a Havalon for this, and then I use one of these little bird beak knives. They're like $5-6 on Amazon or something like that. They're little Victorinox knives. But when you get into the fingers there, like getting into that last joint, there's like a curved joint. They're very useful to get in there. Bears, when you get in there, if you're gonna salt the paws, you've got to get all the joints out to the back of the nail. So this nail goes in there, and then it's gonna have like a curved back, and you've got to make sure that you get there, because if you leave that last chunk in there, you really can't properly salt the paws. But in order to get there, like, it's tricky, particularly the first finger. It's hard to get back in there. Just if you guys are curious, on lions, the only difference, it's all the same except for instead of the claw being straight out, it's to the side. People think that lion claws retract like back into the finger. They're actually like riding the side of the finger. So I find them they're a little bit harder just because it's kind of a unique shape, but it's the exact same process. So there's two ways you can do this. You can cut around the pad. The reality is, for all the taxidermists I've talked to that are rugging them, full body mounting them, whatever, they actually don't use this pad, or they're fine with it being split because nobody's going to be able to see it anyways if it's sitting down on like a pedestal or whatever. I warn people because it doesn't seem like the right thing to do. I just go straight through the middle of the pad. And then one of the tricks that I've found with them is, just like any skinning stuff, you wanna get as far up the hand as you can before you go for it. You don't want to be like going in trying to get to that claw until you've loosened everything up on the palm and the back. Yeah, their hands just like ours. I may or may not have put a couple of these in other guides' pillows. Or the old gag, the other thing we used to do is, like, I'll show it to you guys, but it's a good one. If you got a client or you just want to harass your own wife, once you get the hand out, pull your hand up the sleeve and stick it in there and be like, "Oh, dude, he fell in the fire," because it looks like a completely like burnt hand. It'll for sure freak somebody out. I haven't found it an easy way to do it, but some of them will get down the paw a little bit here, and then they'll actually take like a piece of paracord or something and run it through the above this joint where they can pull. Do you do it that way?
Yeah, if you have this space is a good space for it.
Yeah.
Because you have paracord hanging around, but yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Until you get down the paw, it's kind of honestly hard to follow the anatomy. I do very few endorsement deals, and I do no paid reviews because it would affect the type of content, quality of the knowledge I could put out. So an important part of my business model is my membership group. I'll stick a link right here where you can sign up. There's paid and free options. I do a weekly live stream there. There is a thriving community of folks that are helping everybody become a better outdoorsman. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're an expert, there's something there for you. Go join, guys. It helps me out a ton. It's the way to support this content and to support me. I'll see you there. And one thing about, the reality with bears and lions, if you're cutting through, it's pretty forgiving. I've watched some taxidermists that do a really good job, and when you watch them, just because they're doing so many so fast, they don't have the time to be screwing around. They put holes between a lot of the fingers and stuff. And they just know that it's not an issue, right? There's a lot of hair. I'm just mentioning that because I don't do that, because it's not because it's the wrong thing to do. It's just because I'm OCD. I try not to. I know like the first few I did, I for sure, like once I saw the fingers here, I would go for it. Like chase down a finger. It was always the wrong thing to do. You want to get the whole paw loosened up. Having that tension helps you out.
All you need is a little.
So here we're like about down to the first knuckle there. See, I got space between the fingers, and then I find that it's easier to go, you know, start on one side, do one finger. The first one's always the hardest for me. Then once you get one, you can start rocking. So I just am checking to make sure I'm like at the claw. So here, if you like, you stick your finger in. When you stick your finger in, you want to make sure you're controlling the claw. Like there's not another joint in there, because you don't want to salt on top of a joint. And then when you look at the back of the claw, it's like really clearly rounded. And then you know you're in the right spot. I guess the other use case, you know, if you guys hunt way bigger bears than I'm used to, if you're taking the paws out for weight, I guess there's probably no problem to just cut, like right now, just go through the joints. The last joint here, like the curved one, for me it's hard to do it with any knife other than this little thing. Yeah. I use these on skulls too. The only problem with, I mean, they're inexpensive, but they're damn near impossible to sharpen. So you gotta kind of look at them as almost like a Havalon type of thing. So you guys can see like it's a, you know, that curved joint. Once you get here, now you're rocking. But look, it's like a little gremlin hand. It's like made for pranks. If you're into it and you want to salt like full body capes on goats and shit like that, it's the same deal, but you just go down to the two hoofs. And it's not necessarily that it's gonna do any like harm to the hoof, but what'll happen is if you do that, you'll have like these full body capes. And sometimes you'll see it on, I've seen it on sheep, you know, full body cape sheep. Most people wouldn't notice it, but if you look down right at their feet, instead of having like hair on the fetlock, like going over the hoof, it'll be bare in there, like a bald spot. And it's from there being bacteria from that joint on the above the hoof, and that hair slips. Goats, it matters a lot because it's kind of apparent because their hair's so long. Mm-hmm. If you lose hide on the feet, it kind of looks funny. Alright, so last thing I do is just double check, and usually how I'll do it is just like this seems goofy, yeah. I'll stick my fingers in. I didn't leave any joints in. That's it. Just, I guess, as a last note, if you're gonna salt them, like you're gonna have all this flesh off. Usually the pads, what I do if you're gonna salt them is actually, I'll do like one deal where I just thin them down, and then what I do before I salt them is I hash them. Slice into it, like checkerboard it, and I just push the salt in. That's it. Let's see the quick and dirty way, man.
Yeah, I won't do it off the string, because if you're just in the field, this is the quick and dirty kind of field way. All right, so here's the quick way. Coming to the knuckles now. And you just kind of feel it around. Always do like a check like Cliff did. They already want to kind of go. And then press down on one end, and then you can kind of get yourself in there. Yeah. You just kind of just work your blade in there and let it come out. But then you're left with this, which this isn't the end of the world, because if you get back to camp and you have a spot and a little finer cord, you can still do it and have it salt ready, but you're just doing each individual.
So you guys,
so yeah, you got your little finger there and you just do it over those four.
Guys, I hope you found that useful. If you did, do me a huge favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna send you guys off with this video here on salting hides. It goes along with this video well. If you're able to pull the paws out of a bear, the skull out of a bear, and salt the hide, you're gonna be able to save thousands of dollars over a lifetime of bear hunting, because you can send these hides directly into the tannery, directly into the ruggery. So go check out that video. It'll help you out a ton. Catch you guys later.